It was a dramatic 11th hour intervention, portrayed as a devastating blow to the success of COP26.
Does this make this whole agreement a failure?
As far as I'm concerned, it is a failure.
India has been made a climate pariah after it, alongside China, pushed through a change in the wording of the summit's final pledge to phase down rather than phase out coal.
China and India, of course, are going to have to justify to some of the most climate vulnerable countries what happened.
It's according to science, sir. It's according to science.
But India's Environment Minister argues the ability to reap the benefits of fossil fuels in the way that industrialised economies did as they were growing is a matter of equity.
How can anyone expect that developing countries can make promises about phasing out coal and fossil fuel subsidies? Developing countries have still to deal with their development agendas and poverty eradication.
So does he have a point?
The top 6 countries who use coal, India's per capita usage is about 1.2 tons compared to China, which is 5.2, or the world average, which is 4.5.
India makes up just a fraction of total historical emissions. On average, the typical American uses 12 times more electricity than the typical Indian. So developing nations argue they should be allowed the carbon space to grow as developed nations have by burning cheap fuels like coal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says he expects wealthy countries to give more than $1 trillion in climate finance. Far more than the $100 billion promised but not yet delivered. So for now, without more help, coal is India's only option to meet its energy demands.
But the point I want to make is this. India's coal will peak at a level which is lowest in the world on per capita basis. We have some time before we will start phasing down coal. India's coal consumption will increase for a few years before it peaks and start coming down.
There would be an untold human cost too if coal was phased out without a proper plan.
3.6 million workers depend on coal directly or indirectly. 40% of India's districts depend on coal in one way or the other. So the dependence remains huge.
Here, in the dusty coalfields of India's eastern Jharkhand state, the COP26 climate talks in Glasgow feel a long way away. Coal scavenger Raju pushes up to 200 kilograms of coal, 16 kilometres on his bicycle every day, to sell it to traders who pay him about $3.
If we can't do this, then we will die of hunger. Coal has saved so many poor people.
In our country, this is the only means of livelihood for many. If foreign countries say we should stop using coal, then if we stop coal, what will we eat? Will other countries give us food? No, they won't.
An Indian government study from earlier this year found that Jharkhand state, among the poorest states in India and the one with the nation's largest coal reserves, is also the most vulnerable to climate change.
This has nothing to do with upliftment of poor. In fact, quite the reverse.
Sumaira Abdulali is one of India's leading environmental activists. She argues phasing out coal will not hurt the poor, it will save them.
When you mine coal in a place which is not in this area where it's going to be used, you are basically destroying the poorest people's habitats to supply your cities. Increase poverty, they increase climate migration, and it also sounds like a very noble reason for continuing to destroy the environment.
India is in a race against time on 2 fronts. It must continue to alleviate poverty, but it must also tackle its most pressing environmental challenges, including climate change.
I would hope that India shows that true leadership which is required in this subject. Given that we are one of the most polluting countries in the world, we have both the capability as well as the immediate need to do that and to demonstrate it.